Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. We are from Group 6. We'll present about Section 48, Child Relief. We have 6 group members. First, Kiru Tiga. Second, Nur Atira Akila. Third, Yoga Lakshmi. Fourth, Nona Biha binti Bahrudin. Fifth, Umi Humaira. And the last one is Yim Ming Liang.
Good evening, doctor and my fellow friends. Today I will going to present my part, which is definition of child. According to this section, child in relation to an individual or his wife means a legitimate child or stepchild of his or his wife, or a child proved to the satisfaction of the Director General to have been adopted by the individual or his wife in accordance with any law. The history is subsection 48, subsection 9, substituted by Act 544 of 1996, section 7, subsection C, shall have effect for the year of assessment 1996 and subsequent years of assessment. Subsection 48, subsection 9 formally reads subsection 9. In this section, child in relation to an individual means a legitimate child or stepchild of his or a child proved to the satisfaction of the Director General to have been adopted by the individual in accordance with any law. Thank you. I will pass for my next group member.
Hello, my name is Yoga and today I'll be explaining about section 48 1A. For section 48 1A, subject to this section where an individual who is resident for the basis year for a year of assessment pays wholly or in part in that basis year for the maintenance at any time in that basis year of an unmarried child who at any time in that basis year is under the age of 18 years. For each child below the age of 18, you are allowed to claim 2,000 annually. So it means that if a person who's resident for the year of assessment or the basis year have an unmarried child who's below 18 years old, then he can claim 2,000 ringgit for that child. If let's say he have two child who are below 18 years old who are unmarried, then he can claim 2,000 ringgit for each child until they turn 18 years. Okay, now for the history. Paragraph 48 1A amended by Act 476 of 1992, Section 10A Roman 1 by substituting for the word 16 the word 18 shall have effect for the year of assessment 1992 and subsequent years of assessment. So it means that before this, before they amend the Act on 1992, a person can claim tax relief for a child until they turn 16 years old only. But after they amend the Act, now a person can claim tax relief until the child turn 18 years old. Okay, now for the example, Amri has two children where the first child is 16 years old and the second child is 12 years old. Since both of his children are under 18, he can claim tax relief of 2,000 for each child annually. So, Amri have the first child who's 16 years old, who's still under 18 and who's obviously unmarried, and the second child who is 12 years old, who's unmarried and also under 18, so he can claim 2,000 for each child for the year of for that year of assessment and every year too until they turn 18 years old.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. My name is Nur Atira Akila binti Nur Hisham. Today, in this video, I will explain about the child relief, section 48 1B and section 48 1C. For section 48 1B, pay wholly or in part in that basis year for the maintenance at any time in that basis year of a children who is 18 years old and above, unmarried, and receive full-time education instruction at any university, college, school, or other similar educational establishment. This is mean if the taxpayer have the unmarried child who is receiving a full-time educational instruction, the child is falls on the section 48(1)(b). Section 48(1)(c). Pay wholly or in part in that basis year for the maintenance at any time in that basis year of an child who is 18 years old and above, unmarried, and serving under article or indenture with a view to qualification in the trade or profession. For your information, article or indenture is something like an agreement or a contract, so that the child can get a qualification in the respective trade or profession. Serving under article or indenture with view to qualifying in a trade or profession also included that any part-time education received by the child related to the trade or profession, behalf of the child any premium payable under or in connection with those article or indenture, or making that basis year on behalf of the child any other payment payable under or in connection with those article or indenture. This is mean that any expenses that the taxpayer pay for the child that related to the trade or profession service or that have a connection with those article or indenture, the taxpayer can get a tax deduction. A deduction of 2,000 for an unmarried child who at any time in basis year is 18 years and above and is receiving full-time instruction. This is eligible for paragraph 48(1)(b) and 48(1)(c) of the Income Tax Act. Receiving full-time instruction include also the child who is undergoing preparatory courses, which is pre-U courses, such as foundation, A-level, matriculation. For an example here, Encik Hussein have two children. Her first daughter is 22 years old and is doing her A-levels at local college. Encik Hussein spent 20,000 on her fees and lodging. Encik Hussein can claim tax deduction of 2,000 for his first daughter because his daughter is above 18 years old and is undergoing a preparatory courses, which is A-level. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all. My name is Umi Humaira binti Adnan from Group 6. I would like to present about child relief under Section 48(1)(d). Subject to this section, where an individual who is resident for the basis year for a year of assessment pays wholly or in part of that basis year of an unmarried child if it's proved to the satisfaction of Director General if that child physically or mentally disabled, they shall be allowed the appropriate deduction for that child. Next, the amount of deduction for disabled child. For an unmarried child who's physically or mentally disabled, they are eligible for a tax relief of 6,000 ringgit per child regardless of their age. A further exemption of 8,000 ringgit applies for an unmarried disabled child aged 18 or above who's receiving a full-time education in Malaysia or overseas. This deduction is and add on to the disabled child relief if they are pursuing a higher education full-time for a diploma or higher in Malaysia, undergoing a full-time master's or doctorate course outside Malaysia, or serving under indentures or articles to qualify in a trade or profession in Malaysia.
Good afternoon, I'm Kirutiga Kanadasan. I'll be explaining section 48.3. This section 48.3 is a child relief where in respect of a child over the age of 18 years and if the child is receiving a full-time instruction at a university, college or other establishment of higher education which is similar to university and college, or if a child is serving under articles or indentures with a view to qualifying in a trade or profession, then there shall be allowed this relief. Here, the serving under articles or indentures means articles where a person signed to be an articled clerk, and this is mostly for those who are studying to be an accountant or lawyer. And indentures mean a person who agrees to work without salary for a number of years. So in this case, the amount of child relief that will be given is according to two categories. The first one is those who are 18 years or above, and if they are receiving full-time instruction locally in Malaysia, the maximum relief that will be given to them are RM 8,000, which was previously 6,000. And second category where an unmarried child over the age of 18, and if the child is receiving a full-time education in an university, college or other educational institution, or serving under articles with the view of qualifying in a trade or profession such as accounting and law, they will be eligible for a maximum relief of R8,000 as well, whether the education is received locally or abroad. But this is not including a child who is receiving instruction at any school, but then if that individual satisfies the Director General that he has directly expended sum or sums exceeding the ordinary deduction on the maintenance of that child, or in making any payment in connection with the child's further education, then this relief will be allowed, but in substitution for the ordinary deduction, which is a deduction equal to the total sum or sums expended but not exceeding 4 times the amount of the ordinary deduction if that child is receiving further education in Malaysia. Other than that, an amount which is not exceeding 4 times the amount of the ordinary deduction if the child commences receiving further education in a place outside Malaysia at any time in the basis year for the any prior year of assessment, or it shouldn't be exceeding twice the amount of the ordinary deduction if the child commences receiving further education in a place outside Malaysia. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all. Next, I'm Nur Nabiha binti Baharudin with matric number D2020-109-2500. I will present about child relief under section 48.5. For this section, section 48.5, if the wife was choose separately assessment, She also can apply to Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia, or we are known as LHDN, to deduct all the child relief from her income for the year of assessment. They should do the comparison between the amount of income received and the amount of relief claimed if the child have their own income, such as from inheritance or they do a part-time job. Taxpayers also eligible for relief if the child was passed away or the child was just born on any period in the year of the assessment. So, if the child have their own income, the income that the child receive are more than the amount of deduction allowed. So, the relief will not be given relating to that child. And if the income that the child receive less than relief that be allowed, so the relief that will given is the eligible relief amount. However, this should not be considered as a child income. Firstly, the amount that the child receive is a scholarship, grants, or allowance. And the secondly is payment received by a child by serving with an employer under an ethical bond. For example, at the first, it's like a training. The individual or parents must pay a certain amount to enable the child to receive the training or to do the training. Lastly is the example for this section, which is section 48.5. Encik Hamid have one child, which is Suraya. Suraya is studying at degree level at a private institute that recognized by government. Suraya have 15,000 ringgit total income in a year of 2016. The income that she earned are from her job as a online seller, as agent of selling food help. Encik Hamid and his wife did not eligible to get child deduction on their child because Suraya's total income for the year of 2016 is more than the deduction allowed for the year, which is only 8,000 ringgit because Suraya earned 15,000 ringgit in that year. That's all from us. Thank you.